Hello everyone and welcome on the new Coach Academy Lab Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez joined for Simmercy, and today we are around Portland for the week 6 of the Advanced MX-5 Open Series. So yeah, as usual, first I go with the hot lap and then we will get into the details about the combo, which is quite interesting with the MX-5. So yep, let's get started. Alright, Iran. So here we go for the lap around Portland. So we are just right now crossing the start finish line, and then we are heading into the first corner of the track. So um as usual, we can brake always a bit later with the MX-5. Usually, I think you should look at the 400, but this time you can look at the 300. So as you can see, we are getting by the 400, and then we are reaching the 300 quite quickly. And as you can see, once I'm getting close to the 300, I'm just gonna go on the brakes. So I'm not braking that late. Like as you can see, I'm next to the 300. I'm just releasing the throttle, going on the brake, and yeah, it's simple as that. Just trying to make sure you are braking as much as you can while the car is straight, and then of course, as soon as you're getting by the 200, then you're starting to turn to the right, going down to second. So as you can see, going really fast down to second, like I'm not even reaching the 200 or close to the 200, but I'm already putting second. So I'm really doing the short shift in a really short amount of space, this short distance as well, because yeah, I want to make sure I can slow down the car as much as I can, by braking late, sort of late as well. So this is the thing into the first corner. As you can see, 200, turning to the right, and then of course I'm making sure I can cut as much as I can, but of course without cutting too much, because the fence is quite close to the right side, so I don't wanna hit it. Of course, that's the thing, and and um, and yeah, I don't wanna really be um like using too much of the edge of the curbing, because sometimes it can feel a bit weird. So if I'm cutting it, I wanna make sure I cut it properly. So this is the thing as well. Going into turn one, I also wanna make sure I can get close of the guardrail and the fence on the inside, because I want to make sure I'm not too wide as well going into this left one. This one is very important. This is where you can lose a lot of time. Actually, this right one is not the biggest point or the most important. Like it's not the place you are going to lose a lot of time. This is what I mean. Um, I was wrong saying it's not important, because of course if you don't get this run right, then you can make sure this run will be bad surely. So it's important to have this run right, but this is not into this one you are going to lose the most of the time. If you get it well, of course, you can still lose time into this one, but if you get this run right, you have more chances to get this second one right. So yeah, it's very important to get this one right, so then you can minimize the chances of doing a mistake going into the left. So yeah, as you can see, still on the braking, and then once I'm getting into the curbing, pretty much, I'm just releasing the brakes, going without any inputs, and then once I'm off the curb, I'm just putting a bit of throttle to just settle the car after the curb, because if I keep going with no inputs, the car will still get some rotation. It might get a bit light at some point. So yeah, just by going a bit on throttle, it helps me to actually settle a bit the car. And also I need some momentum to reach the left one. If I just let it roll, I might arrive um, with a bit less speed than what I would need. So that's the reason why I'm going a bit on throttle. By the way, the first corner I just braked around, yes, 80% or something peak. So this is pretty much the value I'm putting into the first corner. Then as you can see, a bit of braking after going on throttle. So yeah, just about 40% just to brake, to slow down a bit the car. But then as you will see, going into the left, I'm just putting back just before the curb the throttle. As you can see, of course, I'm being quite gentle with the throttle, because when you are on the curb, just like that, it's really easy to get some wheel spin, especially when the car is just between the track and the one part is on the track and the other part is on the in the air on the curb. It's really easy to get some wheel spin, so you have to really control um, how much throttle you are putting, so then you can really avoid getting wheel spin. So it's pretty easy to feel, to be fair, at least now with the experience I'm getting with the MX-5. It's quite easy to feel when you are close with the grip, with the traction. um, so yeah, the limit between too much, which leads to wheel spin, and then the good part where you have the traction and the grip is good. So this is really something you have to be careful about. So you can go early on throttle, but yeah, it's very important from the point where you are going on the curb and the part where the car is landing from the curbing and makes a tiny bit of bounces. This is really the 1 or 2 seconds where you have to be careful on throttle, not going too aggressively on throttle, and of course the main point as well is on the way out, making sure you can open the steering, but also making sure you're not getting too much curbing once you take the first part of the curbing, not getting way too much, not getting too much curbing on the way out, because of course if you get the first part of the curbing and then you land just before the curbing, you will take once again the curb, and yeah, the car is going to bounce a lot and you're going to lose a lot of time on the way out. I think that way was on the limit, because as you can see, I'm getting the curb once again, but it doesn't feel too bad after all. But you can still see that the car is making some movement. So yeah, could have been a bit better, but the lap time was good, and from inside the car it wasn't feeling too bad. But you can see on the limit it is. So you can imagine that if I was more to the inside and I was getting the curb earlier than that, it would have been worse. So you have to be careful into this part. Then you can see playing around with the steering wheel, trying to make sure the car remains stable on the way out. So then it helps me to get the traction. Then we are cutting this curbing, so not a big deal, full flat out. And then I'm just looking at the dirt on the left side. So basically when I'm getting close to this, you can see the dirt on the grass. Like when I'm seeing this, which is on the edge of the steering wheel, this is pretty much where I'm braking. So I'm not looking at the first part really, but once I feel that I'm close to just a gap between the two pieces of dirt. Once I'm close to the part which is between the two pieces of dirt, then I'm starting to turning in. So as you can see, turning in, going on the brake, trying to slow down a bit the car, then just going off the inputs to get a bit of rotation. And then as you can see, just trying to keep the car on the inside, just a bit of throttle to get the momentum, then just lifting a little bit to get more rotation. And then I'm just going back on power, trying to bring the car a bit wider, but not too wide, because as you can see, it's a long right-hander, so I don't wanna like push too much there, because then this means I'm gonna go wider, and I'm going to have I will need to make more effort to go back to the inside. Of course, you don't have much downforce, so yeah, it's not like if it's a GT3, for example, you can get the momentum, bring the car wide, and then with the front downforce, you will be able to bring back the car easily to the inside. But it's not a GT3, so you have to think about this, of course. That's why the racing line could be different with other cars. Even though I did the first week the GT4 lap guide, and it was pretty much the same approach. Once again, GT4 doesn't have the same downforce as the GT3, so yeah, but that's great, because of course, when you are going up the ladder, starting with the MX-5, you pretty much find the same things if you are going higher. So maybe the next step is the GT4, and as you will see, the racing lines are quite the same. The approach are quite the same as well. So this is good for the learning, for what comes next for you. So yeah, once again on the track, back on the track, on throttle, trying to make sure I don't bring the car too wide, and then as you will see, I'm just once again slowing down the car. Then I will just release the brakes and the throttle to get the rotation, trying to make sure I can stick to the inside, and when the car is stick to the inside and on the curb, then I can go back on power. Of course, just trying to make sure I'm not going too deep on power, because I don't want to end up going widen the exit, as the next corner is quite close. It's a long left, and this one is really tricky. So as you will see, I'm not going to brake too late, just before the curbs end on the left. This is my reference for actually any cars. With GT4, like I said before, I would brake really next to it, but this time, if you brake too late, the rear gets really light, so you are going to lose the rear. So that's why I prefer to arrive with a bit less speed on the entry. I prefer pushing more on the exits than pushing more on the entry, because on the entry it's the rear gets light. So yeah, if I push too much on the entry, I can make sure the rear is going to get loose, and then you are going to lose a lot of time on the way out, because you have to at first get back the control of the car, and then you have to go on throttle again. But you will get too late on throttle to really get gain back what you've lost by losing control. So it's always better to go a bit easier on the way in, so then you can really go early on throttle, and then you are going to make time by doing that. So yeah, you have to be careful about this. That's the main thing. Don't brake too late. Don't get greedy going into this one. As you can see, the car is under control. You don't see me counter steer that much. A bit on the way out, but it remains an MX-5. It's always a bit on the limit. So yeah, as you can see, just releasing the throttle, trying to, in the brakes of course, trying to get a bit of rotation, and then I'm just playing around with the throttle, trying to get the momentum. As you can see, you have to be precise with how much throttle you are putting, because if you are putting too much, you will get more of a steer. So it's like turn one. It's with the experience you have with the car, it's getting easier to feel the limit between when you have the grip and when you are losing it, when you are getting oversteer and stuff like that. So yeah, after a few laps of practice, you are going to feel what's the limit into this corner, and you will be able to adjust the correct amount of throttle. But yeah, of course, it also depends of your entry. Like if you are getting loose, you won't be able to put the same amount of powers than what I'm doing here. So yeah, the most important at first is to focus on the entry, finding the right momentum on the way in, and then once you are settled with the entry, then you should be able to push more and more on the way out. So this is the thing you have to care about on the entry, but then it should be easy for the exit. As you can see, opening the steering on the exit, trying to carry the momentum, and then I need to bring the car to the left, so into this is braking area. So for this one, I will show you 2 laps. 1 lap with first gear, which is a bit trickier because you have to brake late not brake late, but yeah, it's quite a fast corner on the way in. On the approach, if you put first, it's a bit like overwhelming. Like you have to put first, at the same time you have to care about keeping the control of the car, but it gives you a better exit. In the other end, you can do everything with second, and you just have to focus on getting the line right, making sure you're not going too early on throttle. So yeah, I think the fastest way is putting first. If you do it well, you can gain time. The easiest way is second. So I will show you both ways. The fastest lap. You can see the laps, by the way. This is with second. This is with first. I've lost maybe 300 by putting second in the sector. So yeah, it's not a and what I mean, I'm losing in the sector after this corner. So the sector I'm losing at is during the straight. So it tells if the exit was good or not, basically out of this one. If you have a good sector after this corner, this means you had a good exit. If you don't, this means you had a well. If you don't have a good sector after this corner, this means you haven't got enough speed out of this one. And if you have a good sector, this means you have done a good job out of this one. So yeah, I think you can do better with first. So first, just bring the car to the left, and then I'm just looking at this part of the dirt on the grass. This is what I'm looking at for the braking. So when I'm getting by this thing, or when I can't see it anymore, it's going down the car, I'm braking. So as you can see, going on the brake, then I will just drop to first, I believe, on the way out. Yeah, it's close to the apex. I'm not putting first too early because, of course, it would slow down the car too much. So this means I would need to brake later at first, but yeah, I don't think it would be really comfortable to do that. So yeah, I'm braking right there, so just close to the dirt, and then as you can see, I just bring the car with second, putting first, and then I'm getting the exit that way. But yeah, the only thing is that it can be a bit like um strange to put first, like last moment, going into the inside, going into the corner. So yeah, this is the way I'm doing it. But yeah, it might not be the easiest way, I would say. So yeah, this is one way to do it. Putting first, just close to the apex. Then, as you can see on the way out, I'm just pushing the throttle, just getting the curb on the way out. Just make sure you don't go too wide, of course, out of out of this corner, because if you go too wide, then you will lose some traction going too wide on the curb. So yeah. So this is one way. As you can see, by the way, braking around 62, 65% or something. And then as you can see, just releasing the brakes, that time where you don't have any inputs is used to get the rotation. And then once the car is settled, when it has the rotation, once I'm facing the exit and I see that the car is not going to have too much on the steer, then I can go on throttle. This is also where I'm putting first as well, close to the um like close to the at the beginning of the throttle input, I'm putting first. So yeah, this is the first example. Then you have the lap after, which is the pretty much the same lap. The only difference is that, as you can see, I'm braking at the same place, so braking at the dirt on the grass. But the only thing is that, as you can see, I stay with second all the way. But yeah, the only thing is that it feels better in the first part because you don't put first, so the car is not slowing down the same way, approaching the apex. So in the first part, you should have pretty much more. You should have maybe a bit more speed going right here, but then on the way out, you are going to lose time. So yeah, the both approach are good, but yeah, you might lose a bit of time if you're not putting first. So yeah, to be fair, considering the gap between the two, I think second is a good way. But yeah, if you really want to find the bit of time you are missing, first can be a good way as well. But the second with second gear is the easiest way. So to be fair, during the race, I would advise to stay with second, because it's easiest way. You don't lose too much time, and if you are buying someone with a draft, you will make up the time. So yeah, I would stay with second, but I did it with first because it felt like first was the best way to have a good exit, especially because you have a long straight after that as well. But it's up to you. Both ways works nice. As you can see, breaking point is the same. So then it's just up to you. The only thing is that you have to make sure you are patient because, as you can imagine, you are not going to have the same. Um, it's not going to rotate the same way. With first, the car is slowing down, so you can have a bit more rotation going close to the apex. With second, the car tends to have a bit more understeer, so you have to be a bit more patient in the way you are going on throttle. So this is the only thing you have to be careful about. But yeah, this was the both ways to approach this corner. So yeah, back on the fastest lap, and then we will get into the straight. So yeah, a bit of rest after this very tricky part. Like you have a lot of different corners. You have to really be careful about the approach you are taking going into those corners. So yeah, the first part of the track is quite interesting, really technical as well. So yeah, enjoyable with the MX-5. To be fair, I think it's a great fit for this car. So yeah, good things. Then for the really fast part, so this part, this is really quick. So with the MX-5, you can use the 100. As you will see, I'm just going to put a bit of braking in the first part until I'm just crossing the curb. So then I can go back on power to basically settle the car. That's what I'm doing with the MX-5. Sometimes it's better to go on throttle a little bit so then it keeps the car stable, because if you are just going on the brake all the way, or if you stay like off throttle and off the brakes, the car is going to get really light. So it's always good to go slightly on throttle so then the car gets like a bit of stability, I would say. So yeah, this is the thing I'm doing with the MX-5. So that's why I'm going a bit on throttle. But yeah, it's really important to not go too heavily on throttle, because you don't wanna get too much momentum when you arrive into this last corner. So yeah, you can see going close to the 100, getting by the 100, and then just a bit of braking in the fast part. As you will see, I'm cutting quite a lot the first left. I'm putting almost the left wheels into the grass. So it tells how much I'm cutting using all of the concrete just next to the curb. And then I'm doing pretty much the same in the second one. So yeah, this is the two corners where you can cut quite a lot. It's important to slow down the car enough in the first part, even if you want to carry quite some speed, because then you don't want to arrive with too much speed into this one. So then you don't go too wide out of this one, because it can be quite uncomfortable if you arrive with too much speed going into this right one. Then you might struggle to slow down the car and get the rotation. So yeah, ideally you want to arrive with a lot of speed, but at the same time you can't arrive with too much speed. That's why I told you to not put too much throttle as well to settle the car, because then if you have way too much speed out of this one, you end up going wide, and yeah, it gets really difficult to get this last corner right. So yeah, cutting the first one, bit of braking, back on power between the two to settle the car. Then you just release the throttle, go a bit on the braking just before going on the curb, bit of braking, releasing the throttle and the brake to get some rotation, back on power to settle a bit the car and get a tiny bit of momentum, but you don't want to get too much momentum. And then once you are close to the pit entry line, you can see, then just going on the brake, slowing down the car, down to second, and then, as you will see, releasing the brake, trying to get the rotation off inputs, and then once the car is facing the exit, then you can push, you can open the steering full throttle, and then you can go up the gears. We'll go up to third just before the bridge, and then we are just having the run to the start finish line, which is A bit after that, we are now crossing the line and we are done for the lap around Portland. Alright everyone, we are done for today. That was the week 6 lap guide of the advanced MX-5 Open Series around Portland. A really good fit for the MX-5. To be fair, we should have really good fun going into this week 6. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Coach Steph Academy channel and join the Discord server if you have any questions about all the work we're making. Feel free to ask your questions and also into the comments of the lab guide. And yeah, I see you next week for the week 7. See you next time. Have a good week. Bye bye.